Hi friends, welcome to our Wilderness Basics series.
We want to create a fun place for you to learn super basic nature, bushcraft, and wilderness skills.
Hi friends, what do you have there?
Goldenrod.
Goldenrod. Wow, that's a good bunch of it.
So long I can't.
Yeah.
Really?
How are we going to do this filming wise? Let's see. Fire starting. Now,
Important for this season.
it is important for the season because it's starting to get pretty cold, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. And there's nothing like a cold day like this, sitting around your campfire, cooking something, telling stories, playing music, maybe getting a little difficult unless you have a really big fire that's keeping you warm. But fire starting is something that, when we look at it from this Wilderness Basics series perspective, is not always as easy as people would think. And one of the big reasons is that often we don't understand some of the basics of how that works. And we touched at this with our match video.
You did?
Yeah, how we're taking a small source of heat and trying to translate it into a big one. So when we have flames there, basically we have a chain reaction. But to keep that chain reaction going, it requires some certain things.
Oxygen.
Oxygen, it needs fuel, right? And the complex thing here is that, well, I guess I've seen this done quite a few times. People will set, let's say, a teepee fire. And they'll set the teepee fire, but they're going to be using sticks that are, oh, I don't know, maybe even this thick. And I'll set one here and we'll see what happens. And then they'll use a match, I brought some matches, and they'll try to start that on fire and be frustrated that nothing happens. And the reason here is that fire, it needs to make jumps often, right? From one material to the next. So when I have this big stick, and let's say over here, this is pretty actually nice stuff because it turns into this fiber. So bad example, I'm using nettle here, which is actually pretty nice for starting fires because as soon as I break it up, it gets this nice fiber with chunks in between. But if I have a regular stick, then I have another regular stick, and I have those sitting there, the fire has to make a physical jump. Let's see if I can put it up against my black. It has to make a physical jump from the one stick to the next to spread that fire. And every time it makes a jump, it loses energy, it loses heat. And I can put things really packed tight, close together, but when I do that, then there often isn't enough oxygen to feed it.
Yeah, also it feels so super hard to light something that's thick like this.
Yes.
You can't light it.
That the little amount of heat that's coming off that match, even if we flip it around like we showed in that video and get every little ounce of heat out of that match, its ability to start something like this on fire, or probably even something like this on fire, is not going to be very dependable. Even if I get this to start a little bit, then when it tries to make the jump, there's just not going to be enough heat energy there. Now you have something completely different. But first, let's see what happens when we try this as I described it.
Okay.
All right, this is not a particularly nice fire set, but we're going to have this kind of not so nice one just to show how well the goldenrod's going to work. But again, first, I'm going to take this thinnest one here, set a match to it, and let's see what happens. Is this gonna take? Oops, Okay. Let's try it up. Oh, here. Come on, fire, go. Ah. And we can see it's gone out. That fire just had nowhere to go. Even though it could make the jump from the one to the other, it just didn't have anywhere to put its energy. And so we end up with no fire. All right, so that didn't work too well.
No.
But here, look at the matrix of stuff here, where
Fluff.
yes,
Leaves.
yes,
Sticks. It basically gets thin, thinner. Not thinner. Thicker, which is perfect for fire because then it just slowly graduates.
right, graduates. Yeah, exactly. So we have something really small that can start, and then that can, as you said there, it can catch the next thing that's close to it, but is also very thin.
Those little ones are really thin. I don't know if you can see right there.
Yeah, it's stair steps. Now instead of jumping, whoa, super far, it can come up the stairs.
Basically the slides.
And you probably have a material like this in your environment. If you don't have goldenrod, which occurs all over the place, so you probably have it. But if you're in some other area of the world, in another region, please tell us what plants would work in this same way, if you know. So in the comments, put down the region or country where you are, and then the plant that would work, and that will help educate us all. Now there's a special thing we can do with this goldenrod. Can we take one of these out?
That one?
Yeah. And this is probably the least effective of our examples here because of how spread out it is.
Do you want a different one?
Well, this will work for my example because we'll use this one as the demo, and then we'll use the better ones to go for it. But what we're going to do is we are going to just real quick, this can happen in a couple seconds if you know how to do it and you get good at it.
Okay.
We are going to make a bundle that's graduated.
Okay, so here?
Yeah, perfect. So she's breaking it. She's not breaking it in half.
Should I break it that way or this way?
And then that
Does it
same,
matter?
doesn't matter. And then that same, length. And again. All right. Now, and these last ones, we can, and if this breaks off, that's fine. These last ones we can just fold in half. Now what we have is we've created from that single stick this bundle. And if these are still attached like this, teepee fashion, that's really good because I can set them across. And you can see what I have here is a little graduated bundle, right?
Yeah.
Especially I'm going to bring some of these down. Now look at that. When I start this with a match, it's going to go all the way up. And by the time these start on fire, these are going to have a fair amount of heat power. And if we have a similar setup to the one that we failed at, but this is in the middle, it's going to go really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Much better than, say, if I take some of these leaves on the ground and
they're all frosty.
these are all frosty. Now we've spoken about marcescent leaves. There's some leaves that are still up in the trees. Those can be useful, but they don't have that same graduated power that this does. So once we have that thick one going, we're in a good place.
Yeah.
Can we try this out?
Yeah. Let's...
Okay. Here goes Mirabelle. First of all, she's just going to take a basic measurement and see about how long she wants that to be. And then she's going to make her breaks.
I'm going to do it right over here so I don't...
Look at that. She just folds that around to the other side. Now she's got some good, stronger wood on either side and ready to go. Let's see what happens when we put this inside of our fireside. Nice. All right, why don't you give that a light and let's see what happens. Wow. Look at that go. Nice.
Yes. Ooh, chicken ball.
And we haven't set this up for a long burn since we're just doing a demo today. But we're going to see that this is going to catch those other pieces on fire and keep it going for us. If this was a fire you wanted to keep going at this point, you would be laying more and more pieces on top and starting to let some heart build up. Some of the things fall into the middle because right now our fire is just on the edge.
Even take some of this and put it.
Yeah. If the fire is just on the edge, that will eventually be lethal to this fire because all that heat is going, again, we're thinking where the heat's going, that heat's going up, it's not starting anything else on fire. So eventually here, this will go out unless we would properly tend it, but we're going to let it go out. What do you think?
It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Big difference, yeah.
And that's what happens when we are thinking about ways to maximize the ability of the heat to transfer from one place to another. It's still going, huh?
Yeah, just a little.
Even though it's just up on the top. This would be pretty easy to keep it going if we wanted to, but we'll go ahead and stomp this one out. Now you brought a backup piece with you. I noticed you didn't just harvest one. And what if we tried to start that fire, but it just wasn't going like we thought?
We would have this that we could, if it went out, we could make a new one. And also we could just do it again and put it in and it would keep it going.
Keep it going. Yeah, exactly. So whenever we are starting a fire, it makes tons of sense to gather some redundant materials, some extra materials that we can use and have sitting on the side to save our efforts if our first attempt.
Or even just feed it to the fire if it's doing good, you know?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit more warmth.
Yeah.
Still going. Wow. Okay. And I said it would go out with everything just on the outside. Oh my goodness. All right. Any other thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Again, share what plants work in your environment for the same thing. And can't wait to see what you have to say down there in the comments.